All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JRC Stock Talk. I'm excited to be here. We have redone the interview with IMTL. I thought the information was really great. I know each of you are looking at understanding the information behind what the company's doing after being dormant for a while. And right now we have on with us Frank Casella, the incoming CEO that'll be transitioning in over the next few weeks. And we're going to go through the direction of the company, what they have going into it, and what you as a shareholder and an investor can look at when entertaining this as an investment opportunity. Frank, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Joshua. Good to be with you.
It's great to be with you as well. I'm glad we could redo this. I know we had a few technical difficulties before, but we'll definitely get through that now and be able to post this for all the investors. So without further ado, if you could, tell us a little bit about your background and introduce yourself to the fans.
Well, I'm a lifelong entrepreneur. I have spent pretty much my entire career in advertising, marketing. Of course, once we went into the digital world, the internet came in the 1990s, had to evolve with that, bring the agency up to speed, bring our production company up to speed, moved from analog to digital. A lot of new skill sets needed to be learned. And it was quite a journey from the mid 90s up until about 2010. So we've pretty much maintained that standard throughout, always growing, always getting more clients, the right kinds of clients, working on a lot of national campaigns, regional campaigns. And that's what brought us to needing to create these divisions, these subsidiary companies, which are essentially very high impact, affordable tools for our clients to be able to use.
Now, as the incoming CEO of Image Protect, can you tell us about the timeline and how it will be disclosed, how long it's going to take during this process?
I'm sorry, how long is it what?
How long will it take during this process for you to transition?
All the filings are done. Everything is in place. Of course, those wheels turn at the speed that they turn. Um, Filings being completed at the state corporate level, everything with OTC. We are probably now down to 2 weeks.
All right, tell us a little bit about your experience in the background of this industry and how it positions you in Image Protect.
Well, very specifically, what began to happen after the advent of reviews on the internet, the advent, of course, of mobile, the smartphone technology, Google purchasing YouTube and causing video to be a major content driver on the internet. Here we are today. We needed to address the needs of our clients. First, of course, with really good high-end video production for syndication purposes. We'd already been doing broadcast video production for many years, booking broadcast spots in all the different markets. When reviews started to become a major driver for consumer decision making and for the image of the company, their ranking of what they were doing, and of course being able to use their own customers as a sounding board if there were problems that needed to be addressed. And of course, when you leave a positive review for a company, you are actually a brand ambassador for that company if this information is managed correctly. So when we got to about 2014, 2015, the need had become so great that we just couldn't manually do it anymore. Something had to be done. And so we developed what is today Review Control, which is an all-in platform that searches the internet for a client, scrapes all of their reviews from all known platforms, puts them in a very easy to use user interface, basically a master dashboard. There they can see them all, respond to them, and they can input information about their client, like their cell phone number, and send them a very nice request to leave a review. These are all critical issues now for businesses of any size, but especially smaller and medium-sized local businesses. Now, with that having been built, beta tested, and went live in 2019, the unfortunate reality of COVID was only a bit of a setback because a lot of our focus was on the restaurant industry. They're the ones who really live and die by reviews. But we worked our way through all of that, and we have grown steadily since. The other side of what we're doing at IMTL, the other division, the other subsidiary, 2 Cent Text, was something that our clients steered us in that direction before we ever even realized what it was that they really wanted to do, because we were so focused on, you know, all of their elements, their websites, their video, their advertising, their Google AdWords, all the things that go with this kind of marketing and advertising digital services package. So they wanted to try to use the outbound text capabilities of Review Control to message their clients, but it isn't built to do that. It's built specifically to send a text to a customer, asking them very nicely to leave a review, and then it connects to a choice of platforms. But the need was obviously there. And so we began development about, I'd say, better part of 24 months ago, on what is today 2 Cent Text.
That sounds like a great 1-2 punch.
It's exactly the 1-2 punch. The two things most important to small business owners is to get new customers, service them properly, get their rankings on search up, and their reviews are now handily 1/3 of that algorithm. And maybe most importantly, be able to retain those customers. Other than employee turnover, which has been documented for many, many years to be the biggest and worst expense that a business can incur, is the inability to hold on to their customers, not lose them through some attrition process, whether they're seeing advertising from their competitors, and so the customers float away. And then there's a natural attrition process. People move away, people move in. We're a lot more mobile society than we were decades ago. So the ability to communicate with satisfied customers on a regular basis, get them to come back into the store more often, make sure that they get their carpets or their floors or their air duct cleaned on a regular schedule, make sure your air conditioning gets serviced in the spring, make sure your furnace gets serviced in the fall. These service verticals have had a desperate need and no real way to implement any kind of a program to stay in constant contact with their customer base and have it be effective or affordable. This gives them both. At 2 cents per text, which is essentially $20 per 1,000, it's really very simple to reach out and touch all those folks anytime they want to. And the ROI is fantastic. All of our existing clients are experiencing a terrific return with the platform now.
That's great. I know that clients or companies specifically really need to have an active marketing drip or connection with their clients, their contacts, or the end users of their products and services. So, where do you envision the company's revenue growth over the next 3 to 5 year time frame?
Well, we have we have a couple of competitors, if you really want to call them that, companies that offer in some ways a similar product, but it's either more expensive or it's not managed or supported in the same way, or it's bundled with a whole bunch of other services with the purposes of building up the monthly bill, uh, locking them into contracts. So to understand where we want to take the business, you have to understand how unique we really are as compared to what our competitors are doing in this space. These are companies that do 40, 50, even $100 million a year. And those numbers are not unachievable. You've got 30 million small businesses out there right now, 98% of them not using these types of services. So with the right marketing campaigns, with controlled growth, I believe that we can also achieve those kinds of numbers. So we're looking to add now that we'll be launching new marketing initiatives. Of course, we'll do it regionally. You can't, there's only so many new customers you can bring on within a window before you have to expand your staff, which is what our current short-term plan is. Building a bigger boat, if for no other cliche for that. We're going to need a bigger boat. And based on the numbers and what we've run, what we intend to do, the kind of response we've already gotten from all the test marketing, we want to bring this company to, I would say, easily 10,000 clients, and with average client spend of $1,200 to $7,200 per year, the math kind of speaks for itself. So I think we can realistically look at a 5 to 10 million revenue window. I'd say anywhere from 18 to 36 months to get there.
And how do you intend to implement your growth strategies?
Growth strategy is a very multifaceted marketing plan that we've spent significant time putting this together. So first and foremost, direct marketing to the small business owner. We've tested some fantastic versions of direct mail at the local and regional level. That's been terrific. We'll be utilizing the OTT streaming commercials, which are also a fantastic new concept. And of course, we'll be promoting the company at the same time we promote our services that way. We're also offering a white label version of what we're doing to other agencies that have many clients, but of course they don't have the wherewithal to build tools like this. So we're going to let other network of agencies be able to access it. We're also in the process of developing strategic partnership relationships, not the least of which are folks in the franchise management services space. Because when you're working in the franchise space, you're dealing with 10, 20, 30, 100, hundreds of locations that all have to reach a certain conformity in the way that they deploy messaging, in the tools that they work with. And we're already engaged in conversations with several that you would recognize their name.
So
put it that way. We also want to make sure that we have a presence at industry trade shows around the country, because in that case, all the end users come to you.
So we're going to be looking forward to press releases and more news about this soon, right?
We are going to be extremely transparent about everything we do, every step of the way. I intend to podcast. Of course, we're very good about issuing news. Both of our X accounts, both corporate and company, are always going to be very active, letting everybody know what we're doing. We always like to announce the milestones we hit, the new relationships that we forge, recognizable clients that we bring on board. So the flow of information is certainly not going to be the problem.
That's excellent. Now, what are the advantages that you have over your competitors?
Well, first and foremost, the 2 or 3 competitors that we've recognized uh, that pose really any threat at all don't do business at all in the way that we do. We have read all the complaints. We have read all the Better Business Bureaus. We have gotten a real good feel for what these customers want and what they don't want. So we are mobile, we're agile. We have put ourselves in a position to offer the best products at the best prices without virtue of locking people into contracts. That seems to be the most formidable problem that a lot of business owners face. It all sounds great. They've got to find time to implement these sorts of tools. They've got to find time to use these tools. And some companies just want to bundle an essential service with a whole bunch of others that business owners will never have the time to utilize, or they're useless anyway. But the whole game is to build the monthly ticket to the highest number possible and lock them into a contract. The attrition numbers are atrocious when you do that. So I think our most decided advantage is our slogan: affordable, effective, no contracts, fully supported. These are managed services. This is not a subscription that you sign up for online and you're left all alone to figure it out. So we have a little higher cost on the support side, but that more than offsets the loss of clients that we do get through the attrition of leaving them out there unsupported. You know, the hardest question to answer is the one that's never asked. We don't wait for the clients to ask questions. We're in constant communication with them, making sure we're monitoring their accounts. We're making sure that they're utilizing them and that they're getting the best results possible. So I really believe our competitive edge is in our pricing model, and the level of support that we give and that we'll continue to give.
Congratulations on that. I know that it's nice to have a better price point and more direct customer service, because it retains clients. It keeps the foundation of your revenue stream strong, and that's a big statement. Guys, if you're watching this show right now, please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you would, right here at the bottom of the screen, you'll find that there is the Twitter handle for Image Protect Corp. It's IMTL Corp. Make sure you go and follow them for all the latest updates. Make sure you click the bell notification button at the top of their account so you can get notified every time the company puts out news or has a definitive change that you want to know about. Now, I haven't heard you mention, do you guys have any partnerships that can do in-house production or campaign management?
Well, obviously, our divisions now, or our subsidiaries, were once divisions of the major agency, Mediaplex. That's my agency. I formed it. I've operated it successfully for many years. The production company, Premier Productions, is also a part of that. And of course, I built that as well. So the partnership per se is really the in-house capabilities of everything that the agency does and everything that the production company does. So if you follow us at all, you'll see a lot of video content, very well produced video content. This is the key for outreach, not just in the public markets, but for all of our client marketing. On the agency side, we've got terrific creative. And the best part about having your own agency is that when you advertise the way that we will be these services, we get the net agency rate, which is 85% of RAC. So there's an automatic 15% savings built into any advertising that we book, whether it's with Hearst Media or any other channel. So decided advantages in those partnerships, because we don't have to go outside the house. Video production that would cost thousands for a company that doesn't have these capabilities, for us it only costs hundreds. And again, big savings when we're booking OTT streaming, print, direct mail, any of the other mechanisms that we'll be using to grow the client base and reach out to our target audience. So I think that gives us a very nice advantage.
I think so too. Now, I was going to ask you why you merged with Image Protect Corp, but I can't imagine finding a more appropriate name to merge with. I mean, you're protecting people's images, whether it's through review or through their customer service or through their sales channel. So, I mean, what other advantages do you have in merging with Image Protect Corp?
Well, interestingly enough, the name was more of a coincidence than anything else. Of course, previously, Image Protect was in the business of NFTs, which had a half-life of about 6 to 8 months as far as a viable industry. But that some things work and some things don't. And NFT didn't work. Um, so the company was searching for the right candidate, and we were searching for a mechanism so that we could grow at a rate much faster than if we stayed private and using the old expression, grow the company out of its own cash register. I've been doing that for 4 decades, successful at it, but sometimes it isn't the quickest, most direct way to really get message out there. So the reverse merger was really perfect for everybody involved, and mostly not just because of that very very nice coincidence on the previous name, but the fact that we now have a vehicle, a mechanism, so that we can grow much faster and much more effectively, and that's the way it works in the public arena. That's why public companies exist, is for the public to be able to buy stock and to share in the success. Stock prices go up, sometimes dividends get paid. The idea of having a recognizable, publicly traded share issue gives us the ability to offer some of that to key employees and management so that we don't suffer the kind of turnover and the attrition loss that that private companies do. So a whole real list of advantages there without really any downside. None that I could find.
Well, leads to the next question. I mean, what's your primary focus over the next few years for the company?
Well, the primary focus is going to be on both divisions. We're going to be looking to expand our footprint, grow our revenue base, and really take advantage of the strategic partnerships and the verticals that we're entering. Um, we are also already on the drawing board for the next service, because the needs never end. It's a very much changing landscape. So our next project, which will be an augment to these services, is a generative AI uh, predictive modeler. Now, what that really means is we have access to a lot of data for our customers. We've been providing them with tracking lines for years. So you have an ad, you put a tracking line on it, you see who called, you have that data, then they book a job or they purchase the product, um, or they opt in at retail, and then you have that data. Now there will be the ability to assimilate all of that data and predictively model the behavior of our clients' customers, because they span the gamut as far as their demographics go. So you have different levels of income demographic, different levels of homeownership demographic, behavioral patterns when it comes to retail. There's really never been a way to look at all that data and say, okay, let's set our outbound texting, for example, into 4 distinct campaigns. This campaign will be for the people living in the, you know, X hundred thousands and up homes that have far more carpets to clean and flooring and all sorts of other issues. plus, affordability. And then, then you've got sort of like the medium swath in terms of home ownership and income or average spend at retail. There's really never quite been a way to assimilate all that information, model it, and be able to really titrate that down and break it down into specific campaigns to maximize the potential for our clients. So that's our next step. We're working on that now.
That sounds exciting. Can you tell us about the vision for the company's structure, and in particular, how do you intend to increase shareholder value?
Well, increasing shareholder value is really just a matter of getting the job done. The more revenue we create, the higher the value of the company. You want to discuss market cap, and then ultimately, the value of the shares go up. It's really pretty simple. You get the job done, and your company's worth more and more. For all I know, we may become an acquisition target in a year, 18 months, 2 years. You go out there and you make enough noise, sometimes much bigger competitors come along and they just want to neutralize the threat with cold hard cash. It has happened. But that's not really the plan. The plan is to grow the company, establish revenue growth, and reach a point in earnings where any shares that have been in the past or are currently being authorized for purposes solely and strictly for raising expansion capital can then be bought back from the shareholders at a higher price.
Of course.
Because we may not be a big board company, but we are going to behave like one. And if you follow the big boards, they authorize stock all the time. They announce stock buybacks all the time. Well, that's what they're doing. They're rewarding their shareholders for having bought the stock in the first place and trusted them to grow the value of the company.
The company recently increased their authorized shares from 6 billion to 10 billion. Can you elaborate a little bit on that for the people listening?
That is specifically for the purposes of raising expansion capital so that we can execute the business plan and get the company's revenues really cooking. Because it's really the same formula for what makes rockets go up. Funding. Our marketing plan calls for a fairly large budget deployed over a number of key regions so that we can hit the revenue milestones that we're looking to hit. We've worked very hard as a team to get this company debt-free or as close to debt-free as we can get it. We've already eliminated close to $2 million worth of debt from the balance sheets, from the previous administration. There is more of that underway. So an uptick in authorized shares, which of course they're authorized, they're not even sold, they're not even in the street yet. But as those are titrated out, it is specifically to raise the capital that we need to achieve our goals. And again, with the end game of always focusing on the market cap of the company based on revenue and earnings. The DNA of any company is to make money for its shareholders. I won't be taking a salary during this process. I am very committed to making this work, making it work right the first time around. There's no time for it to go back and do this over again. We've worked too hard. My personal investment in these platforms is about equal to the total value of every share of stock that's in the street right now. So there is no one individual with more skin in this game than I have. And I'm going to treat the shareholders just like family, because once I take the reins, this is a family company. and they are my family.
Thank you. Like in the past, the company mentioned that there's no need for a reverse split. Is that still the position you're holding now?
Oh yeah, there's that conversation is a non-starter. Reverse splits, they're an interesting maneuver. They do have decided advantages in certain cases, but none of that really applies to us right now. I think we have a very manageable amount of common stock. We know what our plan is. That's just a non-starter. There's absolutely no plans, no conversations. There aren't enough shares there really to reverse split to any logical end. So that is an emphatic not happening.
Excellent. And in closing, Frank, is there anything you want to say directly to the investors or shareholders that have been in the stock or are looking at getting into the stock now?
What I would say is do your homework, do your own thinking, study the verticals that I've mentioned. Make sure you go to our subsidiary company websites at reviewcontrolcenter.com and at 2centtexts.com. You can go to the new corporate site, imageprotectcorporation.com. You'll see all the information there. You'll see the videos. You'll see the links. Take a look at what we built. Think about what I've said and maybe come to some understanding that there is tremendous potential here. I mean, it's just about like a paper clip or a pen or anything else. Every business absolutely has to have one or both of these products. And from what our research tells us, over 90% of them do not. So that's how we spell opportunity.
Most small companies, they have spent so much time learning their small niche of business that they don't realize they need a second education in marketing to be able to operate that. You can be the best in the world at what you do, but if nobody knows about it, it's not going to help your business out. You're not going to have the sales you need, and you'll be out of business in less than 2 or 3 years. So I'm glad to see you're providing a necessary, important function for these companies to stay afloat. It's the lifeblood of America. And thanks a lot for coming on the show, Frank. It's a pleasure having you here. And for everybody watching, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Go and follow them on Twitter or X so that you can stay up to date on all the recent information that's coming out. And guys, we will see you again next time. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Until then, God bless and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Joshua.
You're welcome.